What's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Giovanni and I'm a photographer located in New Jersey. This video is all about making your own custom imaging recipe and adding that recipe to your Nikon camera. Now, I think one of the easiest ways to create a recipe is to use NX Studio. This allows you to try out different settings, different profiles. You can play around with the sliders. You can move the color wheels around until you finally land on a look that you like. Personally, I like to start with the flexible color profile. So inside the flexible color profile, you get all these additional options. You can really move, you can use a custom tone curve in here, which is nice. So if you want to add more contrast like this, or however you like to edit, or whatever you want to do, you're welcome to. And it's really cool because there's lots of different control and flexibility, no pun intended, within the flexible color profile. Now, I like to use the color blender here, and I'll play around with the hue and chroma until I get somewhere I like. And usually I play around with the blues, I play around with greens, and I play around with things like certain reds, maybe, depending on the photo. But I don't really touch oranges. Oranges is one of those funny colors that sometimes overlaps with skin. So playing with orange can sometimes play around with the skin. But depending on how good you are, you could still touch the orange. Don't be afraid to. Just understand what happens when you touch it, you know? Personally, I have a preset I already made here called Sinatra, and I really like the way this one looks. I like the way it renders on this frame, in this scene. And what I've done once I've created a recipe is I'll try it on a pre-existing collection of images. And if it looks decent for the majority of the images, then I consider it a good recipe and I move on. You know, I don't overcomplicate it. Sometimes even good recipes can look bad in the wrong lighting conditions. So knowing how your recipe might look in a variety of different scenes or scenarios ahead of time can really allow you to quickly adjust to your situation. Assuming you're shooting JPEG. If you're shooting RAW, it doesn't matter. Now that you've created the look you like, you got to go ahead and export it by clicking Custom Picture Control and Export Custom Picture Control. Make sure you export it to File and choose a location that you can find later. All right, now it's time to add it to your camera. So I like to use the Nikon Imaging Cloud to add recipes to my camera. However, the Imaging Cloud is not available for all devices. As of the recording of this video, the compatible models include the Z6 III, the Z5 II, Z52, and the Zf, of course. Signing up for the Imaging Cloud is pretty straightforward. You will need Wi-Fi or a hotspot in order to establish a connection with your camera. So I would like to see Nikon make the Imaging Cloud an app in the future so that you can use your smartphone. I think the fact that it's just a web page now means it should be pretty doable. So hopefully they'll be able to do that in the future. Once you're signed into the Imaging Cloud, you will see this is where you can download and apply recipes, transfer images, and even update your camera's firmware. So we're going to click here where it says Imaging Recipes, and we're going to select Create Recipe. You can either create a recipe from an existing image, so you could drag and drop a JPEG here, or you can upload a .mp3 file. This is where we're going to add the .mp3 file from the recipe that we exported earlier. So select File and add your recipe. Now I've already added mine, so I'm not going to do that right now. But it will take a moment or two for the recipe to upload. So give it a second, try to be patient. After about 10 or 20 seconds, if it hasn't automatically refreshed, you can probably refresh it and it should be there. Once the recipe is available under Saved Recipes, simply select the recipe and check the box to register the recipe to your camera. Currently, you can have up to 9 custom recipes registered to your camera. So that's pretty nice. It gives you plenty of flexibility. I only have 5 loaded so far, and I don't even know that I'll end up using all 9, so we'll see. Now, updating your camera with your new recipes. On your camera, the yellow notification dot will let you know that you have new cloud picture control files available. You can either use the photo shooting menu or the video shooting menu and select Set Picture Control. Scroll to the bottom and add cloud picture control files. That's it. It's pretty easy to do, and it makes trying new recipes and experimenting a lot of fun. But that's this video. So if you like learning about Nikon's imaging recipes, making imaging recipes, or just experimenting with this kind of stuff, please like this video and subscribe to the channel to support more content like this. Thank you.